Hello, hi there everybody. It's Bella. I'm a little bit early today because I'm on my phone because you know how the phone versus laptop thing is going at this moment in time, but I think I have it solved, so hopefully the next time it will be the way that I've been doing all my feeds. So anyway, welcome. I'm Bella the Secret Psychic, and for those of you who have not used me, don't know anything about me, I do live streams every week on my Facebook community, which you can search for me at Bella the Secret Psychic, where I do some live tutorials. There are some free downloads, as well as you can find out about my services as well. And also hello to you guys on YouTube. If you're viewing this video from YouTube for the first time, welcome, and please do praise or look at the videos that I have, and hopefully something there will be helpful to you. And if you are viewing this, of course, do say hello, do say hi, do interact where you can. I'd love to know again what part of the world you are viewing me from. And that's a really, always makes me feel really excited to know where people are viewing me from. But also, if you've got any questions as I talk about the subject that we're talking about today, then do as well. So I've had a really long day, but I'll tell you about it at the end of this feed, because I won't bore you with it now, because you've come here to watch me talk about my mirror technique that helps people who want to actually see themselves in their past life, who want to do some past life regression. And early on in the week I did a little sort of survey to see if anybody would be interested, because it's something that I occasionally do. I haven't done it actually in a long time, but I used to do it frequently, and this technique is quite powerful. But before I go on to talk about that, I'm going to talk about past lives in general, really. Some people believe and some people don't believe, but this is what I believe and what I've been shown by my guides, but also because I've seen it for myself. I've seen my own past lives. And if any of you saw my last feed about source energy and how I talked about some people have been here longer than others. So basically, those who are new won't really have a past life because they are new, but also they probably would not be interested in this because they are new. They haven't necessarily, not always, it can happen, sort of done the journey and the growth to sort of necessarily become spiritually enlightened, but it doesn't mean that they don't, but they won't necessarily have the experience. But they are very few. Most of us have been here for a long time and had many lifetimes as they say. So if any of you have seen any of my videos, particularly the one around soul contracts, past lives, and I mean I call it past lives, but actually I'm going to flip it on its head a little bit, because I don't actually see things as past life. Obviously we have many lives, but are they always past? I would say no. I would say actually source, or if people want to call it the other side, or whatever you want to label it as, it doesn't run as linear as we do in our human aspect as we are on Earth. So in our human aspect, because we are taught that time is linear, that it goes from A to B, from 1 to 2 to 3, like that. Obviously the way we view anything that's to do with spirituality or other lives or reincarnation, we will always see it as B. Hi Samantha, nice to see you here. We will always see it here as sort of linear. So we will always refer to, okay, we're here in the now, so there must be a past life. No, there is a past life, many past lives, but actually we have future lives that actually we could have already played out. And also, currently, we have lives. So we have this life, but there could also be another you, or another aspect of you, also living the same time frame. And also, just to go back, hi Annie, nice to see you here. Thank you so much for joining me. It's good to have you here. Again, hi Shell, if you're new here, maybe this is the first time you're watching, please do say where you're from, because it always intrigues me where everybody is from in the world as well. But also do interact. If you've got a question relating to the subject, if I can answer it, I will. So the video that I did on soul contracts was to kind of dig a little bit into the contracts that we make prior to us coming here. So we've decided you know, what astrological energy we wanted to come into. We decided who our parents would be, because basically we set the our intentions to how we wanted to grow or how we wanted to contribute to source energy in whatever way, whether this was individually or collectively. And so because we set our intentions, then we then aligned ourselves to events, energies that were happening in this human aspect, so that we would align to fulfill that kind of contract. Suffolk, that's Suffolk in England, I'm guessing. Samantha, great to have you here. For those who don't know, I'm in London, England, by the way, as well. So when it comes to contracts and our intentions, I mean, people call it contracts, but I want to say set our intentions really for what we were going to learn and how we were going to learn it. We were then matched to it, or we sort it out. Why that's important and why I call it intention setting is actually because once you understand that you have contracts, you can opt out of them. Once you understand that you have set intentions, once you're aware of it, you can change your intentions. And this is where the law of attraction and manifestation applies, because once you're aware of it and you say, okay, I think I've learned enough on one subject, I want to change it now, then you can reset and change your vibration. But also I think what's super important, because I know there's so many people, particularly if you're spiritually awakened, who will say, my God, I feel like I've gone through this kind of pattern before, not just in this life, but like it feels deeper than that, particularly when we have connections with certain people, with our parents or with partners. We kind of feel like we've been here or something. In a way, again, we have contractually, or we have set our intentions to relive something that perhaps we didn't grasp quite the way that we had hoped we were going to grasp in either a former lifetime, current lifetime, or a future lifetime. So we will reenact. Or, again, if you're looking at the laws of karma, we may have said to somebody, so I might have sat down with my husband, you know, in the spiritual plane, for an example, and he might have said to me, you know what, in this carnation, I want the roles to be reversed, because the last time you were the, you know, I don't know, I'm making this up now, dominant one, and I wasn't. Let's flip this on its head so that I get the experience of what that's like. And we would agree to it. So even though I might not feel comfortable about that in the human aspect, I've actually agreed to it. So I hope you're understanding, hope you're with me. Surrey, inner Surrey. Portsmouth, I'm getting a lot of English people today, which is not that common, I have to say. So that's fantastic. So Surrey's not far from London, and Portsmouth I haven't been to for a while. I'm assuming that's Portsmouth, England, and not Portsmouth in America. I do clarify. Aberdeen, yeah, loads of English people. So why do we need lessons if we are just energy? Can't we just exist? Well, that's a really good question, Amy, and I do like how you answer questions, because I think the human aspect of us always wants to look in the logic. So we can, but we wouldn't be living the human aspect. What we would do if we wanted just to be energy, or we wanted to contribute in different ways, that we would remain in source. That's the way that my guide showed it to me, and we source it. Because we choose to have a human aspect experience, or we choose to have lessons, then we have to do it in a human experience. Or, for some who may or not believe, other interdimensional sort of experiences, so not necessarily human, in order to again contribute to source. But that is definitely another subject for another time. I can tell you. So if we wanted to just exist and just wanted to be energy, then we would just stay in source, basically. And lots of people do, lots of energies do, I should say, and then they choose that that's fine enough. And I think also, if you think about it, if in your human experience you just was energy floating around doing nothing very much, but you had a human consciousness, you'd be pretty bored after a certain amount of time, because you have a human consciousness. When you don't, so for example, when you're in source energy, time is not linear, time is infinite, time moves around, time is forever, but it doesn't feel like forever. So it's flipping where you're at, if that makes sense. So the corporeal part of you, which is your higher self, the part that has made those decisions, is energy, is infinite, does float around, but then chooses to contribute to source, to ever expand and ever learn, if that makes sense. So I hope you get me. Why is it that spirit can see the future? Is it set in stone? That's a really good question. some things are set in stone because we've contractually agreed it. So yes, some things are, but gosh, and maybe I should rephrase that. Most things are set in stone because we've contractually agreed them. I would say just because we've contractually agreed them, again, if you want to break that contract and change your intentions, which is where I talk about the law of attraction, then you can break it. So I guess pretty much no, nothing is 100% set in stone, but most of us do honour our contracts one way or another because it is going to contribute either to our own growth or to source's growth. So we will follow through with that mostly. Other things are free will, greatly. So we can choose to do lots of different things and choose not to do lots of different things. So I hope that kind of makes sense without me sort of hashing around a bit. But mostly, I think, is the truest answer. And most of us do. And particularly most of us who are not spiritually aware. Once you become sort of spiritually aware and awaken, then it's a different ballpark. Your free will becomes a lot more heightened, so it is more unlikely that you will. So for example, most people who follow my stream or follow my YouTube videos pretty much are following them because they feel the same way one way or another. So because they feel the same way, they're likely to have stronger free will than most people, and therefore will maybe not follow their contracts because perhaps they might have said, wow, actually going through it, I don't think I like it, I want to change the game. And that's fine, because the one thing about source energy and afterlife, or whatever you want to label it, universe, God, whatever you want to label it as, wants us to work towards joy and abundance, because joy and abundance does grow us at the end of the day. So if we then change our intention to say, actually, I would not like to have that challenging experience that I thought I wanted, I'm going to change it up. It's fine, is what I want to say. And why is it that spirit can see the future? That's because it's not linear. In a way, from spirit or source, it has happened already in a way. Every thought that we think exists. Everything, when you, without getting really too deep, when you think of people thinking about interdimensional planes, that also will be part of what I mean by current existences. You can be looking at your life now and think, right, I just have past lives. No. Think about it like Harry Potter. Actually, think about it like Lord Voldemort, which again, I keep thinking of these very crude analogies, but it hopefully makes sense. Lord Voldemort, if anybody knows Harry Potter books, splits himself 7 ways so that his soul never dies, basically. That's my only example that pops in my head right now, but basically you could be 7 people right now, living 7 different experiences because you've asked. And if you think about it, the perfect example for that is twin flames. Because when you are a twin flame, you have elected to separate yourself in order to have 2 different experiences, only to then rejoin and harmonise back again in a very beautiful way. So that's where that can apply, which again is a very much a deeper talk for another time, let's say. So just to sort of crack on with talking about my techniques. Also, just to quickly add as well that we can also choose, not everybody believes this, but this is how I'm shown things when it comes to energy. We can also elect to have our next experience as an animal as well, and vice versa. And the reason why I strongly believe that, one, because my guides show me, but also that we have many spirit guides who are also animals, and they're quite powerful. So why wouldn't you want to be one? Sometimes I think I might come back as a cat just because they seem to have a better life. And Amy, you might want to do that too, just because of that. We might want to laze around and just just be energy, just sleep it off, and do things in a different way. But each to our own, as they say. So the other thing I kind of want to say is as well is lots of people say, why can't, well, if we've had past lives, or we have current lives, or we have future lives that are not linear, then why don't I know? In our human aspect, and if you think about this again scientifically, we only use the tiniest part of our brain. We don't use it all. We use like 1/5 or something less than that. I don't know the actual statistic. And that's the same for our consciousness. So our consciousness, we're consciously aware. I'm aware that I'm in this room. I'm aware that I'm talking to you. But there's a lot of things that happen in our subconscious. a lot of things, so which often gets worked out in dreams, or will resonate within us in sometimes mannerisms and behaviours because we don't understand at a deeper level why we do something or why somebody's doing something, because it's going on at a subconscious level. And I think you've got to look at consciousness and subconsciousness very much like how we use much of our brain. We don't use or don't access or tune in to our subconscious regularly, but most people who are awakened or who are psychic do. They try to dig that, but it doesn't just come overnight. It takes meditation, it takes deep practice, it takes a lot of time to be able to do that. And if you do that with the help of your spirit guides, it leads to it being much more successful, let's say, and you'll be able to do that. Basically, if you think of an iceberg, and an iceberg, when it juts out of the water, you only see 1/10 of it. But then if you go under the water, there's like, you know, nine, what's the maths on that? 1/10, nine tenths. Sorry, there's 9/10 under the water, isn't there? You got to think of your subconscious like that. It's the 9/10 under the water, but we only used the 1/10 in our conscious, everyday human aspect. In our corporeal, we use it all. And in this lifetime, once we become awakened, it's about how we tune into that subconscious, but then opens up to everything. We understand our current lives, our past lives, our future lives. But why? Why should we want to do that? And why don't we do it already? Again, it depends on how disciplined you are when it comes to spirituality. If you knew that you had a past life, if you had that full memory, so let's say I passed away and I was a husband to somebody and I died in my 40s, let's say, and then I was reincarnated while my wife was still alive and I remembered it, it might be a bit messy. But if I choose to elect to remember that memory because I've got discipline enough to know that actually that is a separate time, and how the memory of that can benefit my journey in this life towards making and setting new intentions and joy and abundance and all that kind of stuff, then why would I not want to look at my past lives to see what I can learn, what I can gain, what are the things that keep coming up there, but also now, because I'm repeating lessons, hence why I'm still, certain lessons I'm still going through, I get that deja vu, I feel like I'm meeting the same energies all the time. Why is that? You're looking at your past lives, future lives, current lives will solve that aspect, if that makes sense. So, now I'm going to talk about my mirror technique. So, my mirror technique, I thought I was the only person who could do this, but apparently there are other people, which makes me feel good. So it's not terribly a secret, but I don't think it's something that lots of people use. Lots of people use as traditional steps, which is to have hypnosis of some kind, or to do it, self-hypnosis quite a lot. And I will be talking about that at the end, because you have to sort of do that for a number of times and practice, because again, you have more than one life. But the more you're doing it, your brain is learning to go below the surface of the water, like the iceberg. It's training itself. You can't expect in your human aspect to just have one regression session and that's it. you remember something all the time. No, the more you're doing it, your brain is going, oh yeah, I can access that part of your brain, your memory. I can access that part of source in order to capture that. But a really truly effective way to actually see, not just to have the regressional memories of it, which is super important that you do, because you get more smell and you get more dialogue from doing that kind of regression technique, in terms of guided audios or going to see a regressionist. That you get a lot more detail. But to actually see your past lives, current lives, future lives, this is how you do it. So all you need is so simple. It really truly is. All you need is ideally a full length mirror. If you can't have a full length mirror, the biggest mirror you've got, and you need to sit yourself in front of it. This is simple, but it does take practice, and it does take, again, some self-discipline. But I also want you to see it, that the methods that you use to do this are very much in the sense of meditation. You have to have quiet, you have to have extreme focus for this, and you have to have practice. So you have this full length mirror, or the biggest mirror you have, and you need to sit down. You need to be relaxed. You need to be in the present moment. It's all about you and this mirror. It's all about you and this mirror. No distractions, no nothing. You sit in front of this mirror, or you gaze in front of this mirror. Some people like to have candles, dim the light a little bit. To me, it doesn't matter. I've done it in bright daylight and I've done it with candles. The effects are the same. The most important thing that you need is to have complete quietness, stillness, similar as you would with any kind of relaxation or meditation. Once you've done that, you just need to relax, and you need to start to look into the mirror. You need to start to stare into the mirror. When I mean stare, you need to stare, and you need to quieten your mind as much as you can and just focus on your eyes and nothing else. When you focus on your eyes and nothing else, and you keep looking, and you keep looking, and then you start to not blink. Do not blink. No more blinking. Try to resist the blinking. This is where you need practice, because your natural instinct will be to blink. You need to sit and stare, relax, focus on you and your eyes. And then when you've done that, you concentrate on your breathing, you just need to slow down your blinking. Then slow down your blinking some more, until you do not blink. That will take practice, trust me. When you can successfully do that, I can promise you, you will be blown away about what will happen, because your face will change more than once, and you will actually see your past lives. It's a very simple technique, it's very powerful, and I'm sure scientifically there are lots of people that say, oh, this happens, that happens. No. Trust me, when you do it effectively, you do it right. Particularly if you have been practicing meditation, or you've been practicing self-guided regression anyway, your brain is, again, like I said, below that iceberg. So it's already attuned, and it's already been tuned up to search for that anyway, because you may have already had that experience and that kind of dialogue to actually see clearly right in front of you. And usually when you see it, it's usually like a greeny grey hue. They're not as vivid, let's say. It's not HD. It's not as vivid as you, but what you see, and trust me, the first time I did it, because I didn't know anybody else could do this, I was like, what? What the heck? You know, I almost swore then. But I was like, what was that? And I did it again, and it always, the faces always go in the same order, and that's how you'll know that you're not just seeing things or you got blurry eyes or something, because when you do it more than once, your face changes in the same sequence. Same sequence. And the longer you do it, the more you see. I've seen myself in, you know, those Tudor ruffle neck as a man once. I've seen myself look like somebody who, gosh, I want to say a witch, but she wasn't a witch. But you know how a witch might look, in terms of really dark black hair, really sullen. I kind of want to like it to, what's that horror movie? The girl comes out of the television. I look like her, but I wasn't evil. God, I got a lot of references to horror movies, didn't I? I'm a bit of a Steven Spielberg fan, so it's probably where that all comes from. But I've seen many. I haven't done it for a long time because I don't need to necessarily do it. But when I have done it, it has been extremely powerful, because you see. But be ready for it, because if you're not ready for it, you might be a bit wigged out, is all I can say. And you don't want that now, do you? So practice, particularly the relaxation, the focus, the mind, the presence. And even if you don't get anything out of it the first few attempts, don't worry, because what you have gained is presence of mind. You have gained to learn how to quieten your mind. You have gained a moment of meditation, which is only going to calm and rest and relax you and ground you, but also attune you higher to your own abilities, because you're allowing yourself to know how to shut out the world and focus on you as a spiritual being, as a corporeal being. And then it will come. But practice. And like I said, the more you perfect the technique about how you go into trance, basically. So when I say stare without blinking, what you're effectively doing is going into a trance, which is what most highly effective meditators can do, and how you can link into that. So that's where that comes from, the non-blinking. It's learning how to go into trance so that you then actually see in a clear clairaudient kind of way, sorry, clairvoyant, sorry, clairvoyant sort of way, if that makes sense. So, so that's this very simple, super simple technique, which please do try, because if you try and then you see, I kind of want you all to come back and write on this post, or just write on my wall what you did see, because I'm sure it will encourage other people. But also, when you do and you want to then explore those lifetimes more, then you can then look into deeper stuff when it comes to guided regression, and when it comes to learning more how to do that more, to gain more from it. So instead of just being able to answer that life, a question, to get answers, to see how it benefits this life, to understand about their life, who they are, whether they're kids, what's relevance to this life, and how it can help and shape you, whether it might even put some things, you know, to peace. Let's say it might put some things to rest when you understand things. You go, well, now I totally understand why I like pizza, or why I like Egypt, or whatever it is, because I get it now, because I've seen this experience and I understand it. I also understand why I have this relationship with that person, because I saw them then. It will just help with all of that and help you progress and navigate through this path, this lifetime, hopefully in a much better way. So, for those of you who are interested, I have, and I will be, you'll start to see them, especially as we go into the new year. I'm now doing, due to some regular sort of questions that I get from some of my clients, I am doing some online courses to awaken different aspects of people's primary extrasensory ability, which we all have. And if you have a primary extrasensory ability, to be able to expand on that, so that you have all four senses in terms of the clair, but to initially tap into that. But also courses on manifestation and abundance. And I have one now, because of this live feed and the interest in it, which is guided audios on regression. And one of them, there's four, so but actually there's three, so they're based on what I've just talked about, which is past life, current life, and future life. So you get to use those audios, and again with practice and regular use, to participate and witness past lives, current lives, if there are any that you are doing at the same time, and also future lives as well. And then as a bonus, there is a meet a spirit guide, and much more sort of in-depth hypnosis, not just a meditation. All four of them are hypnosis audios. Again, it's explained on the course how and when you should use them, but again, frequency of use will yield you the greatest response, particularly then if you're using the mirror technique also. And I will post that link, if not after this video, then it will be tomorrow, in order for people to know how to access that course. But again, in the new year, I will be having loads of courses on developing psychic abilities, extrasensory abilities, tarot cards, the whole lot. That will be all sort of feeded out a little by little as we sort of go through the year next year. Also, just to say that Christmas and New Year, sorry, happens to lie on Sundays when I do my live feed. So I've made a decision that I need a break. And because I do have lots of courses and some other stuff that is needed to be done over that time, that I'm going to be not doing my live feeds now until the 8th of January. We'll be back, but obviously watch out before that for your choice in what it is that we will be talking about. As normal here on my page, there will still be comments and all the other stuff going on, but the live feeds will be, the next one will be the 8th, and hopefully it won't be on my phone. It will be back on a laptop with all my little gadgets and screenshots and all of the fancy stuff that I like, which hopefully you guys like too. So that will be on the 8th of January, when I will be back doing my live feeds, hopefully in a less phone way and on a nice laptop way as well. And also, I just wanted to add as well, I think, for those of you who are join my community, but also who use my services, who I see many of you as great friends as well, because you allow me to share things with you or to tap into things, that I feel privileged that you allow me to do that for you and to try to help or assist or coach in whatever way that I can. So I truly am grateful. Today my brother is going into hospital. Tomorrow he's going to have an open heart surgery, and I would really appreciate all the love and healing that all of you guys could send to him so that he has a really safe operation, because he will be on my mind. And I just hope that you could do that for me, just as an extra push, because all of the love helps, doesn't it? So that was me, really. Just wanted to tell everybody happy holidays, no matter where you are in the world, and thank you very much for the great year that most of you who've been on my page have had, and those of you following YouTube. Watch out also for your January horoscopes on YouTube, which will be out just slightly before the new year, so that you can all be prepared for your January general overall, particularly when it comes to love in particular. So do watch out for that too. Have happy holidays, have a happy new year, and if I don't speak to any of you before that, then just have a really great time. So I'm going to say goodbye now, and I really hope that this has been useful. Like I said, practice, be ready, because you might get wigged out the first time. If you're interested in my guided audios, they will be posted, like I said, tomorrow. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you haven't joined my Facebook page, it's just search for Bella the Secret Psychic. And also, if you would like to know about any of my services, just visit bellathesecretpsychic.com to see all of my services, free downloads, and anything else that you might find useful. So thank you, Teresa. I really hope that's helped everybody, and I wish you a good night, for me anyway. Take care. Bye bye.